Today we're speaking with Deborah Blair and Greg Gierty of Community Credit Union. Deborah and Greg are going to share some insights and helpful tips on how to find and buy a car that is right for you. So let's start out with Deborah. Deborah is the Education Program Director at Community Credit Union. Welcome, Deborah. Somebody's looking to buy a car. What are some of the first steps they should do or be thinking about in the process?
First step is to figure out what you can afford to buy, how much you can afford to spend for that vehicle. And it will not just be the car payment that you need to consider. It will be the gas, it will be the maintenance, it will be repairs. It will also be the cost of the insurance of the different types of vehicles that you have. So it's key to create your personal budget, to list all of your income, all of your expenses, and to figure out what exactly you can afford each month to pay for that vehicle and to maintain it.
If you need to get a car loan, when do you start that process? Is this the time that you can start thinking about the car loan or actually talk to somebody about a car loan?
Yeah. A car purchase is a major expense for each individual, and it's key. You can't really start too early. First, you should pull your credit. You can get a free credit report. There are actually 3 agencies. You can get a copy from each one of those to find out what exactly is on your credit report, what your credit score is. Because that credit score is going to be key to determining what the cost of money will be if you get a loan from a bank or a credit union. The higher your score is, the better it is. The lower that score, the more that money for that loan will cost you from the bank or the credit union. So that's key. And your credit score will also affect the cost of your insurance. So if you have a low credit score, the insurance companies are going to equate that with a risky behavior, or low character, and they're going to charge you more for that insurance.
Is the time now to start looking at and comparing car insurance? You know, is it early? Is it too early to start looking at what are your insurance options?
No, just as you should be checking out your credit score, you could begin to shop around for insurance. There's lots of policies out there, lots of insurance dealers. So shopping around and finding out the best policy for you and the best price is also key.
All right, thanks, Deborah. We're going to move on to Greg. Greg is the Indirect Lending and Auto Scout at Community Credit Union. All right, so Greg, we have an idea now. If you're looking for a car, a young person now has an idea, how much they can spend, what their budget is. There's so many different car and truck options. I mean, how do you even get your arms around narrowing down what is the right car, what is the right truck for you?
Well, you have to look at your individual needs. Are you commuting a long way to work or school? Are you needing the vehicle for toting things around? Do you have children that you need to keep in mind in back seats of vehicles in a vehicle like that, a sedan as a 2-door, things like that? So you really need to take a look at how your personal area of interest as far as a car purchase would be, to really decide what is best for you as far as that would go. Are you hauling things on a regular basis with friends? Is that part of your business or anything like that?
Good. Once you narrow that down, so you figured out how much money you can spend, you have an idea of the type of car or type of truck you're interested in, what other research can you be doing before you actually go to a car lot and actually physically start taking a look at cars? Is there other research you can be doing ahead of time?
Absolutely. With the internet now, there is so much information on there that you can basically walk into a dealership with every bit of information that they would have to tell you, you can already know. You can look at different places, cars.com, Auto Trader. You can go to different websites that will show you the individual car. You can go to, if you're buying a Ford Focus, you can go to Ford, look at the Focus, see what different things they say about that as well. So it is key to do that online before you go, so you are educated, not blindsided, not knowing the information that's being talked about between you and either a salesperson or whoever may be at the dealership.
In this day and age, the information that's out there, you're going to have a pretty good idea of what a fair price is going to be for whatever particular vehicle you're looking for.
Absolutely.
Is that true? And some of these websites, you're going to be able to get that information?
Yes, again, I would recommend either cars.com, Auto Trader. It'll give you an idea of what the cars are going for in the market. So if you narrow it down to a couple of vehicles you're interested in and plug those into these different websites that we're talking about, you'll be able to get an idea of what those are selling for.
Okay.
And then you can also go to what's called Black Book or NADA, and that will also give you what the actual price of the vehicle should be through Southeast or whatever area, whatever region you're in.
Okay.
Will also be a helpful tool.
And it's fairly easy, like if you know the model, the make of your car, and the year, I mean, pretty much that's the basic information that you really need to kind of plug in, and whatever website you're on, it'll kind of provide you with that basic information.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, so now we figured out, we've done our research, we know how much we want to spend, we narrowed down the car that we're interested in, and we're at the dealership, we're on the lot. What is that experience like, as far as, you know, the questions that we might, or we should be asking the salesperson on a test drive, things we should be looking at, the noises we should be listening to? Can you talk a little bit about kind of that whole test drive and on the car lot experience?
Sure. Along with a test drive, you should also be testing every button that is within the vehicle. The power windows and locks, cruise control, radio, air conditioning, heat, all of those things, windshield wipers. All of that stuff should be tested while you're on the test drive to ensure that it's working. If you or somebody you know has a reputable mechanic, I would also recommend that you take it there to look at the engine and things like that. Brakes, things like that. How soon am I going to need brakes? How soon am I going to need tires? If you put a penny in a tire, you should have about half of the penny left to ensure that you have good tires. If not, you may want to negotiate new tires on the vehicle. Some dealers will offer you that.
I've heard about something called Carfax, and to tell you the truth, I don't know too much about it. Can you explain the importance of a Carfax and how do you obtain that?
Carfax is very important. Sometimes if you are on cars.com, as we talked about, there will be a link that you can push the button and it will bring up the Carfax for you for some dealerships. Other dealers don't have that right online, but when you go to the dealership, you can ask, I would like to see the Carfax on this vehicle. And what that is it's basically a report card for that individual vehicle run by the VIN number. So if it's been in any accidents that were reported, it'll show that on there. It will show any maintenance records that are on there as far as oil changes, tune-ups, things like that, that were reported. Any accident that's reported to a police department is going to be reported on a Carfax. If it was simply a fender bender that wasn't a big deal, then it would not. But any kind of major impact or impact that involved more than just the cosmetic look of the vehicle would be included in that Carfax.
Right, right. At this point, if everything is checked out and everything looks good, and now you're ready to say, yes, I'd like to buy this car, the negotiation process, the process where the salesperson will say, okay, this car is worth $3,000. Can you talk a little bit about what that process is like and what your options are as the buyer in that situation?
Sure. Going into the dealership, you should have a dollar figure in mind that you're wanting to spend, because many times people go into a dealership, they're buying a car, they get very excited, and suddenly they're spending $3,000, $2,000, whatever the case may be, more, because they just have to have that vehicle. Be true to yourself, have an amount in mind, and go forth with that. By that I mean, if your salesman is telling you, just for easy numbers, it's a $5,000, you've done your homework and it should be $4,000, the salesman may come back with $4,800, $4,500, $4,400, you stick to where you're at. If you go up $100 or $200 because you like the vehicle, that's better than saying okay to $5,000. But you should have that information in mind and keep true to it. Otherwise, there's a very good chance you're going to be spending more money than what you should.
Right. Well, great. So if somebody needs more information, Greg and Deborah, on this topic, it's a very important topic, is there a number that they can call or a website that they can go to get a little bit more information on the car buying process?
Absolutely. You had mentioned balance, which is wonderful.
They can visit our website, www.ccuflorida.org. And there's a link to our balance track program there, a module specifically about purchasing automobiles. It has budget worksheets on there. It also has car comparison worksheets on there. I believe it also has a checklist for when you're looking at cars, making sure Greg talked about pushing the different buttons and making sure all those work. So balance is a great resource on our website.
And is there a phone number that we could give out?
As well as through the website, they can contact me. I'd be happy to help them. That would be 321-690-2328, and you can ask for me. My name is Greg, and I will be more than the only Greg here. I'll be more than happy to help any way I can.
Great. Deborah, Greg, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.